What's up, Diablo 4 players? So let's talk about it. The uniques coming into the game in Season 5 are gaining some massive buffs. And even right now in Season 4, sometimes I get asked, Sladra, how do you get this one unique? Or how do I get a greater Affix unique? Well, you can do two different things. You can trade for it, or you can try to find it yourself. So for starters, let me go ahead and mention why I wanted to make an updated video for this, because there are going to be more ways to get uniques in Season 5. So I wanted this video to kind of basically have you guys ready, so when Season 5 drops, which is very soon, you guys are going to be able to get more uniques that you're looking for, and uniques are getting some massive buffs in Season 5. So for starters, there are going to be 3 different areas that you can get uniques from. That is going to be the obol vendors, where you gamble your obols. You can also go for the Helltide chests, as well as the whisper caches. So in the whisper caches, obviously, if you're looking for a helmet, you go for the helmets. Whatever the case may be, that's where you can go ahead and get them. And this is also true for the brand new uniques that came out for Season 5's PTR, which is going on right now. That's how I got my Crown of Lucian, which is pretty much, as of right now, the best item in the entire game. So basically, those are newer areas that you can acquire whatever you are looking for. And what's even cool with this is also going to be true with the mythic uniques, the, uber uniques. These will also be able to drop from all of those other sources as well. So it's another buff to the uber unique drop rate because, well, you can get them in more areas. Now, what's actually very interesting with this as well, if you're looking for maybe some sort of gloves and you would have maybe gotten an uber unique, you will still get that. So to kind of explain how this works, maybe you want the Shaco, the Harlequin Crest. You can get that or Andariel's Visage from a helm or a chest in Helltide. But if you would get a mythic unique from a gloves chest, it would give you a random one instead, which means, let's say I really need a very specific like weapon unique. If I'm going to the obols or just gambling with it, I could still get a uber unique. Now, if there is no uber unique in that slot, like a gloves in their example, it would still just give you a random uber unique. So to be honest though, I don't really know what the drop rate's going to be. They haven't officially released this for Season 5, and as of right now, I don't think this is actually in the game, but it just allows you guys to get more uber uniques and more regular uniques. In addition to that, they are actually making a huge amount of updates to Season 5 for the uniques. This is just taken from the campfire chat, just to go ahead and show you guys that this is like official news. It's not just me saying, hey guys, I think they're going to do it. They have already announced that there's going to be some massive buffs to uniques, and I'll also kind of mention which ones are kind of new over here that you may kind of want to look out for. So as far as like the locations of where these bosses are, because what you want to do, if you want to get a greater Affix one to drop yourself, the best thing to do is consistently actually play, and you will eventually get these to drop. This is a very realistic thing for anyone to do if you're just doing these. Ideally, you want to do these in groups though. Don't do this solo because you are kind of wasting your materials, because whoever else goes in with you can also drop the item. Or if you want to big brain it, what you'd want to do is invite your friend that's playing the same class, and he can maybe get the item for you as a drop himself, and if he doesn't need the item, you can actually just have them give you the item. I do this all the time in my live stream. If someone needs a very specific item, I will rotate to a character and I can help them get the item. It's a very nice thing to do, but keep in mind the uber uniques, aka mythic uniques, those you can't trade. But just going over the areas where the bosses are, I'm going to leave this because it's a very helpful thing, as it does tie into kind of like how you get them, and I'll get kind of into that. But I want to go ahead and kind of have like an intro to kind of explain why this is kind of important. But like I mentioned before, doing this with a group or friends is way better because they all benefit off of it. It doesn't cost more to have more people go in. So if you guys don't have friends, which, it's all good, you can go to the official Diablo Sanctuary Discord, just Google it, or if you go to a lot of streamers, sometimes they are nice and they'll be like, hey, you can join me, or hey, I'll help you run it. If I still need uber uniques myself, we can do some runs. It's totally fine. Or if I haven't filled up my party, I always say, hey guys, anyone in the stream want to join in, you guys are always welcome to join in for the runs. But the ideal goal is really to try to do this in some sort of group where everyone does what's called a rota. So if you join the Sanctuary official Diablo 4 Discord, you can just go down to where it says SC LFG bosses. This is true for uber unique rotations or whatever you're trying to do, whatever boss that you're trying to look for. You can see over here LFG, which means looking for group, Duriel, looking for one more on Dariel, and then it's like X5, X3, or how many. There's also this little indicator if it's hardcore or softcore. You may have to select the correct one if you're doing seasonal, non-seasonal, all that good stuff. And then you can see other people people just putting in their battle tag, and that's essentially how you can do it in groups and be way more efficient. This is the ultimate way to go ahead and do that. But now that I got that out of the way, I want to go ahead and make a really quick brief overview of what items you may want to try to consider that are just in the regular uniques, because I already made a video dedicated for the Uber uniques and I showed off all the methods. I'll link that one down below in the pinned as well. But the main thing that I think is more important is to go over the uniques, because I get asked all the time, Sladra, I need this item, where do I get it? And this is the same thing with the greater affixes. Obviously, if you could do the tormented version, that's totally fine, but the regular version can be completed so fast now with Season 5's new update, where the altar actually respawns again and again. You don't have to reset, have everyone leave the dungeon, then you got to reset the world. You don't have to do this. So doing it on the normal difficulty is actually totally fine too, if your character just needs that item for that power spike. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about the Uber uniques. This is just regular uniques, how we can farm them and get the greater affixes. So every single one over here with the generic uniques will tell you right here what the unique is and where you can actually get this. I'll link this also down below, but this is basically the cheat sheet. It shows you every single area that you can go to actually get the Uber unique or the regular one. The Uber unique's just pretty much just out wherever has a tormented, level 200 boss. That's kind of what you're looking for. But for the most part, the rest of them, they all have a very specific boss that will actually drop them. Now, it's not guaranteed 100% chance if you need this one item, you just go over there. But as far as like the generic uniques at the moment, there isn't one where I could say every single character can use, but ones that are actually pretty good. I mean, if you're playing Thorns, Razorplate is there. That's from Lord Zier. And if you want to run Yen's Blessing, that is also Lord Zier. Lord Zier actually has a lot of them. Now, because in Season 5, we're getting massive buffs in the basic skill department, you would probably want to try to get Ping Orders. And if you want to trade these can go for a lot of gold. I'm talking billions of gold if you get a good rolled Ping Orders. And that's going to be from the Beast in Ice. So those are kind of some of the more generic ones. But now we're going to go into kind of class-specific ones. However, I also want to mention Godslayer is a pretty decent item, but with the new Crown of Lucian, I mean, that thing literally deletes every single helmet. Like, every single class has to play that item, and at the moment, well, I got mine from the Whispers. There's no defined area at the moment for Season 5 where these brand new uniques will be dropping. But a lot of these definitely are, need of a buff. Like, for example, no one plays Frostburn anymore. It's basically not used. Same thing with Fist of Fate. A lot of these items kind of went out of style because they're just too old. Tabalts used to be a really good pair of pants, but they nerfed it, and honestly right now resource isn't too much of a problem, but these are pretty good too. You can get these really easy from Duriel. Now moving on to the other class specific ones, and I'm just going to go over this relatively quick. So some of the ones that can be used for, let's say, Barbarian is like the Rage of Harrogoth, which is great for getting extra cooldown reduction, and actually has extra crit, and getting that damage reduction as well as getting cooldown reduction is great, because whenever you do a bleed, you can reduce the cooldowns of one of your skills by 1 second, which is actually quite great if you just, hit everything. Another great one is going to be the Romulani's Magnum Opus, and these are both from Lord Zier and Gregor, the Galvanic Saint, so both of those. And if you need to know the locations of any of these, Gregor is over here. I'm not going to go over every single one, but just use the thing over here. If I was to click on, let's say I need Opus for a lot of different Barbarian builds that can, just build up a lot of resources, I just click on Lord Zier, and it'll tell me exactly the guide, what he requires if you need to go kill him. And then you can go to the map over here and just look up the area, which is the Hall of Penitent for Gregor. If you're looking for Lord Zier, that's going to be over here in the Ancient Seal over here. So they are going to be located in different areas, but basically that's where you would go. But as far as that goes, that's pretty much the only Barbarian ones that I could say that are pretty good right now. But keep in mind, a lot of these are going to get buffed, and we'll cover them when they get buffed. As far as Druid goes, there are some people using Earthbreaker. There's also Dolmen Stone, and Dolmen is acquired by Duriel, and then Gregor can drop the Earthbreaker. And then the other ones that people may want is Insatiable Fury, so you're permanently a werebear. That's the Beast in Ice and Gregor. Really awesome thing if you want to be a werebear. And then also Tempest Roar. This is one of the most popular things for the Druid, and then it also drops from Duriel. But honestly, with Crown of Lucian, I don't think anyone's going to be playing anything else, but this one technically is required for builds to actually function properly. But other than that, there really isn't something that I would say is absolutely omega good for that. Now, as far as the Necromancer goes, there's really nothing that I could say really sticks out. I really like the Ring of Sacrilegious Soul, but right now minions are the hot thing for the Necromancer, and well, to be honest, they don't even play this. So other than just mentioning Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul, that's from Echo of Varshan. It's really great quality of life, but again, in the top tier builds, you don't really play any uniques in the Necromancer, which actually makes me kind of sad, but That's the reality of it. Black River is great. You can get that from Duriel as well, but hopefully we can get a blood build going. Unfortunately for Season 5, there's like no buffs really to make these stuff that, you know, was kind of cool, like, you know, Death Speaker's Pendant or Ebon Piercer to making like god tier levels of good. But who knows, maybe someone will figure out something, but there's not really anything specific with that I could really recommend. As far as the Rogue goes, basically Rogue really needs a lot more things to be more viable, but the only one that I think people are using currently is going to be the Scoundrel's Kiss, which is for the rapid fire build, where you're able to go ahead and get a bunch of these like explosions. It's fantastic for that, but other than that, there's not really anything to mention for Season 4, and if you want to get Scoundrel's Kiss, that is Lord Zir. Lord Zir actually has a lot of the newer ones for Season 4, which is great. And then as far as the Sorceress goes, the only one that I could really recommend is the Talrash's Iridescent Loop, which makes it so you can get all these different elements. It gives you basically a huge bonus set of damage. Basically, you're going to use Fire, Cold, and Lightning in almost every single build because you're going to use Flame Shield. Then usually the Ice one is kind of the awkward one with like maybe some like Frost Blades, but pretty much everyone plays Teleport, everyone plays the Flame Shield, so it's easy 2 out of 3 done, and this gives you crazy amounts of damage as well as getting cooldown reduction. It's just fantastic. Rhyme of Infinite's okay too, but Talrash's you can get from Echo Varshan over here, and then another one I wanted to mention, which is Rhyme of Infinite. You can also get it from Echo Varshan. You'll probably get so many of these while you're farming for the Talrash's, it's not even something that you need to go for. Now, also, Fractured Winterglass can be dropped with Lord Zir. I'm gonna be honest, this is a very rare drop though, and you need this to be a high roll, so you might have to do this one for a while. Just gonna keep it straight up with you guys. Better off, if you need a Fractured Winterglass, to go ahead and trade it, because the rolls on this are just so big in terms of a difference. I mean, going from 50 to 70 is a massive difference, as well as that 35 to 50, and those both kind of simultaneously roll at the same time. There's also Flame Weaver. Technically, this is at the moment one of the higher tier builds that you can actually utilize this on. That's from Gregor. It's for the Fire Bolt, Fire Wall build. And then some people do like Essus, so Beast and Ice and Echo Varshan can drop the Essus boots, so that'd be something to go ahead and look at. But there it is, guys. That's the updated guide for Season 4/Season 5. But remember, one important thing is this update is not right now, so don't use your obols on trying to get a unique right now. This is an update that is going to be coming out later, and I'll update you guys if certain things change, as well as the new updates for specifically all of the effects, because, you know, I'm an OG Diablo player. Windforce has been in the game since Diablo 1, and unfortunately, this item has never been good in Diablo 4, and they've buffed these several times. There's items like, you know, the Eyes in the Dark that no one uses, so expect to see a lot more buffs, but this is exactly kind of where you get them, and I give you guys some extra little tips. You know, basically do this in groups, you'll have a much better time. But that's going to wrap up things. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it if you want to be up to date when these updates happen for the brand new uniques, as well as any other like updates. Maybe there's a new bug build that could be super OP. I'll let you guys know as well. Anyways, take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And check the pin, there's a bunch of links to get you guys ready to go.